well, you know. So when you sit there, you have your dinner, and I love turkey, ham, and stuffing. More, please. Yes, love it. You can't beat the classics.
Yeah, do you know what I look forward to? Because Christmas morning now, because I have the 2 kids, myself and my wife, we don't open our presents until sort of 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock Christmas night.
What type of presents do you and your wife buy each other?
Easy now. Naughty.
Did you just get that joke?
Naughty. No, so what we do is we get up with the kids, and they basically spend the whole day opening their presents, and then we have the dinner, and then the kids, and they sort of start winding down around 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. We'd have recorded the Doctor Who Christmas special, as we do every year.
Yes.
This year my son's a big Doctor Who fan, but the tradition is myself and my wife watching on Christmas Day on our own until he gets a wee bit older.
You have your yearly drink of Baileys.
And I'd have a glass of Baileys and a wee bowl of trifle, and we'll sit and open our presents while watching Doctor Who, and it's pretty nice.
Oh, you're a wild child, sir.
Life in the fast lane. I wouldn't know what to do with excitement. I don't want excitement. I wouldn't know what to do. If something exciting happened to me, I'd be like, what? I don't want anything to do with it.
Okay. So is that why you're hosting this radio show?
I know. Exciting. Right, okay, this is Shine 102.4 FM, and you are following the nerd. I'm Mark.
I'm Saxon.
Quickly, sorry, before we go, Stephen Moffat confirmed that the Capaldi series is going to be a straight run of...
Yes, it is.
What is it, 12 episodes?
13 episodes, but we don't know if he's talking about 13 episodes plus next year's Christmas special, or 12 episodes and next year's Christmas special, counting as the 13. Yeah.
And also, Capaldi apparently had to what's the word? My mind's gone blank.
Audition for the role,
even though
why
Moffat
is
wanted
that
him.
news?
I thought it was interesting.
Did you see the article I wrote up for that?
No, I haven't
it's the most sarcastic thing I've ever written in all my living life.
But it's because I was thinking about it as well, going, well, why did he have to? But then you can think to yourself, I want that Saxon guy to be Doctor Who. I want him. I want him in the TARDIS. He comes in and he's pants, and then you go, really should have done the audition thing here.
Well, it's for formality's sake more than anything else. Really, you need to check because like I said in the article, Capaldi oozes charisma and acting ability out of his very pores.
Oh, aye.
Right? And I've checked, but
lovely.
Oh, filth. But he's a great actor. I've just been watching the thick of it over and over and over again, and it just gets better with every single time I watch it because the guy is just a powerhouse of acting talent.
Speaking of the thick of it, right? I asked you for a lend of the thick of it. I asked you for a lend of the thick of it last week. Ladies and gentlemen, one of my best friends, Mr. Saxon, told me when he gets Point Break back, I get the thick of it.
Yeah. Have you seen Point Break yet?
No.
Right. Well, that's the thing, you see. That's the thing. You and your wife get Point Break watched on delicious Blu-ray.
Yes.
And then when you've seen that, you may see the thick of it. That's how it works.
Right, okay, this is Shine 102.4 FM. That's enough Doctor Who for one night, I think.
It's never enough.
It's never enough. You can get us on Facebook at facebook.com/following-nerd. You can tweet at nerdfollowing, and you can get our website for all the latest news, reviews, and interviews at www.followingnerd.com. And we're going to be coming right back talking to Mr. John O'Brien.
Ashley Eckstein, voice of Ahsoka Tano on Star Wars The Clone Wars, and I follow the nerd.
What you can do during the name Esquilax.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, what was Christmas Carol? Best Christmas movie ever?
It's up there.
Okay.
Careful now.
Oh. Right. So, okay. With what?
Scrooged.
Yes. Good.
Trying to think Christmas movie. If you want to go really off the beaten path, I'd say Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah, you say I seen that a long time ago, and I remember liking it, but I don't even remember it enough as I don't remember it even as a Christmas movie. Do you know what I mean? So I think. Well,
Michelle Monaghan wears like a sexy Santa suit in it.
Right. I must go home and watch the DVD.
Indeed, you will.
Mm-hmm. Okay, right. It's time for this week's interview. We'll see if Skype is going to be kinder tonight.
Probably won't be, same as always.
Okay, we're going to be
Skype.
We're going to be talking to a gentleman by the name of Mr. John O'Brien. He's a former Air Force fighter instructor pilot who transitioned to special operations for the latter part of his career, gathering his campaign ribbon for Desert Storm. Immediately following his military service, John became a firefighter EMT at a local department. Along with becoming a firefighter, he fell into the information technology industry in corporate management. Currently, John is writing full on the series A New World. It's an absolute pleasure to talk to you, John. Are you there, sir?
I am. Thanks for having me.
Not at all.
Well,
not
hey.
at all. How are you?
Doing quite well, thanks.
Good. We're feeling quite festive here in the studio tonight. We've got one more big show before Christmas. Is Christmas a big deal at your house?
It used to be when the kids were younger and so forth, but as they've developed their own lives, it's sort of, well, I guess fallen off a little.
Okay.
But I do enjoy the holiday seasons, I tell you.
Okay. Now listen, John, before we get into it, for the people that are listening right now, tell us a wee bit about yourself, what you're all about.
Oh, me? Really not much. I basically camp out most of the day at my keyboard, trying to put out the next book and answering emails and so forth. I enjoy writing the story, and that's really where most of my day takes me.
Okay. Sorry, it was remiss of me to say you're speaking to Marc and Saxon.
Hello.
Hey.
We always forget to introduce
We're best
ourselves.
friends now.
Yeah. That's all right.
Okay, now John, tell us a wee bit about your books. You're writing, of course, the New World saga. I suppose we could call it a saga?
I suppose. I guess there's no other real word for it. Saga works. Series.
Okay, and you're coming up on the 8th book, is that right?
The 9th one, yes.
Okay, so is it the 9th one that's now we're waiting to be released, or is it the 8th one?
Let's see. The last book was the 8th one in the series. I'm currently writing on the 9th.
Okay. Right now, tell us a wee bit about the saga so far.
Oh wow. Well, it's set into a post-apocalyptic world where flu and a subsequent vaccine takes down most of the population. I guess somewhere around the range of 30% are killed outright. A large majority of those remaining are mutated, genetically mutated into another species, if you will. They run around in packs. They have a pack-like mentality, and they hunt the nights trying to find the remnants of humankind.
Okay.
It sounds really interesting, actually, but what is it that made you want to tell the story, an apocalyptic story? Because obviously it's been done. It seems to be a very popular subject at the moment, be it vampires or zombies or the flu. Obviously, what was it for you that made you want to tell this story?
That's true. There are a lot of great stories out there. Yeah, I used to run scenarios, survival scenarios. That's actually, I guess where the book spawns or the books spawn from. I'd run the scenarios through my mind at any given moment, before going to bed, daydreaming, and I just envision different scenarios, put myself into it, and how would I extricate myself. Well, one night, I was reading one book, post-apocalyptic, and the light bulb kind of went off that I had my own story to tell.
Right?
So the next day, I sat down, opened Word, and began writing.
And had you any, were you a writer before this? Was this your first time dabbling? Had you any sort of short stories or any novels before this?
No, this is it. I just realized that there was a story to tell. It was itching to get out. I kind of combined a lot of the scenarios that I had put together into the series. Mm-hmm. And started writing. The creatures basically spawned because I needed to make it more interesting. If it was just going to be a post-apocalyptic survival, you'd be reading about gardening and ranching and all those interesting things. So I had to make it a little more, interesting.
Now you're coming up on your, as you said earlier on in the interview, we're coming up on the 9th entry in the series. Did you intend for it to go on this long? Is it just kind of a case of every time you sit down to write the next volume, you're like, I've more ideas. Do you have an idea where the book is going? Is it telling its own story?
Well, it's mostly telling its own story, and I'm just kind of I think I've mentioned a couple of times before. I'm just merely the conduit for it. Initially, I sort of thought about a trilogy, that maybe I could carry the story through 3 books. But as I really became immersed in it, the story took over, the characters took over, and I just started jotting it down. Some ideas would, come during various moments. It's never out of my mind. and that would get written into the story. And, as it writes itself, I'm kind of as surprised as anybody else about what happens. I have the philosophy that if it's down on the paper, it stays, and I have to write my way around it.
I'm a massive Stephen King fan, and I've read interviews with him, and he has said sort of every now and again he'd write a character, and all of a sudden he'd write the character's death, and he'd go, "Oh, I didn't see that coming." Have you been in that sort of situation where you just said that, but have you really taken yourself by surprise? I know that sounds cliche, but have you been in that situation?
Well, yeah, I don't think particularly about characters' deaths, but about the situations they find themselves in. There are certain scenarios that I think I have planned out in my mind, written out on the outline, and I start writing it, and all of a sudden it just takes a sharp left. And I'm like, I'm even, sitting there going, no. How am I going to write myself out of that? You can't know. And then it just keeps going. I'm like, all right, well, let's just let it flow and see what happens.
Again, so just talking about Stephen King, he had what he called his magnum opus. He wrote the Dark Tower books, which went on for. Have you read them?
Fantastic series.
Yes,
I'm not a fan of the ending though.
But the thing about Stephen King, what terrified me was I started reading the Dark Tower when I was a young teenager. And I was always afraid that he wasn't. I mean, he said he wrote once as well that a lady had sent him a letter, and she was an elderly lady, and she said to him, "Look, Mr. King, I'm well on in years. Please tell me how the story's going to end, because I don't know if I'm going to still live long enough to get to the last volume." And he said, "Look, I don't know how this story's going to end. Do you know where this is going? Do you have sort of an end point, and it's just how you get there is the question?"
Well, I have a lot of the major points in mind, where I would like the story to go. It doesn't always do that. The story has changed from start to this point many times, as has the ending, actually. So I'd like to say I know where the book ends, but as I write the next paragraph, that's liable to change as well.
Right, now, just moving away from for a second or two, do you... have you, along the journey, have you come along with other stories that you'd like to tell? Are you happy to finish this and then sort of go back to your ordinary life? Or do you think, when this is done, I have other stories, or I have stories that I can tell alongside this?
Well, this has really become my life. I enjoy telling stories. Mm-hmm. It's fun. So I'll continue to do so. Once this one does reach its conclusion, wherever that happens to be, I do have... several other series in mind. One in particular keeps cropping up and taking over my conscious, I guess, if you will. So that one will be fun to write. I do have something afterwards.
Okay. And does that daunt you? Does the idea of finishing the story and start something else, is that something you're excited about?
Starting each book is a daunting process. I'll do anything, shampoo the carpets before starting another book. You sit there at that blank screen, and it's not so much writer's block. It's just knowing that you have, 100,000 words to write, and getting there, and how, and is there enough story that's going to accomplish that? Mm-hmm. So each book starting is a fairly daunting process for me.
Okay. Now, John, where can people come across? Where can they get your books? Where is the best place to go online, or is it available in stores? Where's the best place to get them?
Amazon is actually probably the best place to find them. If you just go to my author page, it'll have all the books listed. But it's out there on Barnes and Noble and iTunes, Sony, Kobo, basically all the online marketing or stores.
Okay. And where's the best place for people to sort of to get in contact with you, or to stay up to date with what you're doing? That's
probably, Facebook. I'm more active on Facebook than anywhere else, so that's probably a good place to contact me. I also have my website. I'm not quite as active on there as far as posting updates, but you can definitely contact me on there. The website is anewworldseries.com.
Okay. Well, listen, John. We have now got a few copies of your book. Normally, we would have read the books before we get the chance to interview the authors. So we are a little bit behind in this one, but we're looking forward to reviewing them. And maybe whenever we get the first, I think we've the first 3 books now. Whenever we get the review of that, maybe we'll get you back on and we'll get into the story a wee bit more. But for anybody, sorry, go ahead.